Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. David Bonderman, a friend we affectionately call Bondo, co-founded TPG, one of the most admired and successful private equity firms in the world, along with his partner Jim Coulter. TPG has established an amazing track record, in large part because of David's unquestioned character and integrity, his Texas-sized risk-taking entrepreneurial spirit, his fun and engaging personality, his wisdom and gift for attracting the very best and brightest. In addition, David's generous philanthropic giving has focused on the heartbeat of Mother Earth. He is driven to make our planet a better place to live for all human beings and the wildlife of the world. It is my honor to welcome this Texas giant into the Texas Business Hall of Fame.
David Bonderman and TPG have rewritten the rules and definition of private equity funding.
TPG is typically known as a private equity firm, although we're broader than that. And we make investments in companies and try to make them better and perform well. And we've been doing that for now 25 years.
TPG has over 16 offices around the world and manages over $75 billion worth of assets.
TPG really is looking for unique, complex opportunities where they can go in, roll their sleeves up, and really create value.
If you took TPG and all their portfolio companies and their employees, they'd be like one of the top 10 Fortune 500 companies in America.
There's no formula. Sometimes you're attracted because it's a great business and it's undervalued. Sometimes you're attracted because it's not a very good business, but the price is right. It's about being curious enough to figure it out.
David says he went into law because you didn't have to know anything. But apparently, he learned a few things along the way. He taught law for a while before becoming a litigator.
One of the Supreme Court justices asked me a question saying, couldn't you take the position that thus and such? And I said, you could take that position, but if you did, you'd be wrong.
It obviously worked because David won the case. At age 40, David Bonderman had reached the pinnacle of the legal profession. Bob Bass, who was fighting a very difficult case, brought David in to help win that case. And after David had won the case, Bob urged him to leave his legal career and join the business ranks.
It took me about a minute and a half to figure out this was a good idea.
I think what led to David leaving law and getting into the private equity business was really his characteristic of David, which is being fearless, not afraid to take risk.
But I thought I'd learned what I could learn, and it was time to learn something else.
And that was the start of one of the most successful business careers in the history of the United States.
In his very first equity venture, David proved that risk and opportunity live in the same space.
It was very high risk. It was something that several people told them not to do. Fortunately, David didn't listen to any of them.
Continental itself had been badly run and was a bad business, had been bankrupt twice, had terrible labor relations. In our ignorance, we thought we could fix it.
Even though it was on the brink of going into bankruptcy more than once, they eventually caught their stride, and it turned out to be a 10x return, and it really put him and TPG on the map.
Well, we worked on a number of deals in a number of sectors. We got into the healthcare business early on. We got into the tech space early. We bought a business which we paid almost nothing, and it wound up selling in the market for $10 billion.
David really is very much interested in the road less traveled, the deals that are more difficult to do.
Well, we've won some and we've lost some, and you don't get them all right. If you never make a mistake, you're not being aggressive enough. If you make too many mistakes, you're being too aggressive, so it's a question of finding that middle ground.
For David, giving back is a global opportunity, and we all benefit.
David cares about people, preserving their culture and their environment. And these passions have led him to be interested in the Grand Canyon, the Himalayas Foundation, conservation issues in Africa, women's and minorities issues both in the United States and throughout the world.
David has a passion really for wildlife conservation. Through his foundation, the Wildcat Foundation.
Almost everything I do is environmental related. We only live on this planet as long as the planet nourishes us, and I've picked some things where dollars can make a difference, most notably anti-poaching in Africa.
He's very passionate about music. This is a man who grew up in the best of times for music, the 60s, and certainly in terms of rock and roll, and he brings that passion to bear with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
David is interested in philosophy. He's interested in business. He's interested in rock and roll. He's interested in people. And all of these interests have helped him become the leader that he is.
You know, I get a lot of questions from young people as I want to go into private equity, I want to do this. What courses should I take? What school should I go to? Life is serendipitous. You should do something that you like. You should do something that you're good at because it's serendipitous. You get opportunities, you got to know when to seize them and when not, as opposed to planning everything in advance.